G'day everyone.
G'day, Yama.
Hey, g'day everybody. Welcome everyone. Today's a throw it up in the air show and see how it lands. But basically we're going to talk about spiritual stuff. Because of yesterday with our lovely sister.
You all look professional. I look like shit. I'm going off camera.
I wonder where that.
In fact, I thought you got a new dye with your bandana. I was like, oh my God.
No,
oh, wait, no, it's a bandana.
I'm having a massively bad hair day. Look at this shit.
Oh, I just tied one up.
Oh, that's cute.
Okay.
Yeah, I was, but then I washed it.
So here we are today.
Check it out.
So basically we're going to chill out and then we're going to get in some really good stuff, because to do anything spiritual you've got to be in a really good frame of mind where you're comfortable and relaxed.
And we need some cleansing. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's why I put the birds on when we first started, because that's, if you haven't got anything, that's the best thing to listen to get you on a nice high vibration to start your day, or anytime. Listen to it at night. Some birds sing at night. The birds.
I listen to crickets in the beach.
Yeah, the beach is great. Hey, that really, it's like washes your mind, and nature plays a really important part.
Yes.
In our well-being. Yeah.
I didn't realize you guys were live.
Yeah. That's right.
I wonder if I can do it. I'm going to see something. But go ahead. Sorry, I'm just playing here.
Okay. Yeah, so we're just going to sit back, have a yarn around the fire, and discuss matters, spiritual matters, and we're going to ask Malia about what she's up to in that realm, because she does stuff.
Well, it's that time of year.
It is that time of year. Mm-hmm. Things have changed a lot in the last few years. Spiritually, they've changed as well. And we'll discuss a bit of that too, and whatever else comes in the conversation. And we'll chuck the link in at the chat room at the end if anyone wants to talk about anything spiritual or crazy or weird in that realm. So while Jules goes to the makeup room. You're right.
Gee, thanks. I mean, I know it's Saturday. No. I've been doing chores all day, and I look
Get yourself back on the camera, you beautiful lady.
I will, but at least let me brush my hair again.
You don't have to. No pressure. I went off camera yesterday. I was like, no, not today. I don't want it.
I'll my hair up, because no amount of makeup can change this. Beauty.
Just put the word beauty on the end of that. One of the rules of Stoicism that I've been reviewing this week that talks about inner strength and building that having a strong amount of inner strength is you never criticize yourself. Never, ever, ever criticize yourself. Don't talk bad about yourself or that you're a failure in any way, even jokingly, because I do it really bad. I can fall into that one. It was a good reminder because I'm like, I got to remember, don't tell me I'm a failure. Don't, tell me myself that I'm not going to make it, or because positive thought, and I'm sure you agree, Luna, positive thought is the positive energy behind how we accomplish our goals.
Yeah, it is. That's a very important point, Leo, because, hey, I didn't even introduce anybody. That's a very important
point.
We're all here. We are there. In the world we live in, as soon as you start to shine, there's things that want to put your light out, man, real quick. And then there's those that do shine, and they do it out of human things like jealousy and all that.
Envy is a big one.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really hard to achieve what Malia said, and that's why we're here together, because we're supposed to help each other and help each other up. And then when you get up there, you put your hand down and you help someone else up, and that way we're all ensured that we'll get to that place that we It's always up. Isn't that funny? What happens if it's sideways and we've got our wrong direction?
Yep.
What happens if our compass is the other? No, I doubt it. That's just a joke. But positivity. And I'm sure all of us, when we're growing up, had struggled with that in one shape or form. It could be the way you look, your character, the fact that you're always happy people didn't like that, you might be really smart. Like, there's all different reasons why we do these things. Thank you, Leah. That's a really good point. Right. And we're all beautiful. And, when I see spirits that are passed over, I've seen them in real life, but when they pass over, they're so beautiful. Like, we are so beautiful in our spirit selves. I don't even know how to describe it. You've seen them probably, Leah.
Yeah. And sometimes we can even see, or I've been able to see, like, people who are living their spirit and what that looks like. And really, I think that the defining factor I've found in those I can see their living spirit, and we do this a lot on this show, on our shows together. We bring up some of the Christian principles and show how that's in ancient Vedic or ancient, some of the Australian ways of thinking, ancient Maya, and bringing that cosmology together. So one of the things that Christ said was, wait a minute. You keep on talking because it totally jumped out of my head.
All right, so part of the reason
seriously, gone.
Come back in. That's what happens.
It was a good one too.
Come back. Part of the reason we did this show today was Jules did a show yesterday on her channel, and I highly recommend you go over and have a look because there's some really good conversations and yarns going over there. And a guy popped in and he asked about past lives. And I can see people's past lives, but I've never done it with someone I've never met and who isn't present in the room and that I can't even see. But I had a go and I did it, and then it just spurred me on. I thought, these matters really need to be talked about honestly. So let's do it.
It came back. It did come back. You were right. So he said, in order for your spirit to be alive, you must be born again. And that's a very confusing statement for a lot of scholars. What does being born again mean? Well, that's the difference in a living spirit in which I can see their living spirit paired with them, and someone who they haven't awoken the living spirit. They haven't found their own inner self and awoken that child. And it's a process. It's truly becoming like born. You realize, oh, my spirit can either be turned on or it can be turned off. And most of the time people come into this existence and their spirit is turned off and they need to find it and turn it back on, flip that switch on. And that's that being born again thing.
Well, kind of similar, but I could be a little different with that concept. That Christ consciousness.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that it's that Christ himself spoke against the gods of that time, including what we commonly understand of God, like in the scriptures and stuff.
From what I've studied and come across and read, when it comes to Christ, JC, he most likely would have been like us, like a common person, curious, questioning, wanting to know this and that. He probably was a long-haired hippie that was quite fond of the cannabis, that listened to music and went to theater. I mean, he was a normal guy. From what I'm understanding of religion, he never said, "Follow me."
Yeah, he never said that. Mm-mm. Yep.
There's a lot of things he never said that people think he does. I haven't read the actual Bible, but I read this little book that had all what actually Jesus said, and not the Bible section, just what he said. And that made more sense than other things that I've looked at. I want to say, this is what I tell people. So Jesus was Creator's son, and we're Creator's children, doesn't that make him our brother?
Or possibly Creator was feminine and masculine.
Yeah, in our culture, Malia, it says that Creator is feminine, and when she wanted to create this world, she needed the masculine part to do it. So Creator took over and created everything here on the mother's behalf. That's what we believe.
We always get to the macrocosms first. Have you noticed that? Let's take the big picture, and then we'll go into the little one.
Saying Mother, Father, Creator. And it's hard when you walk a spiritual path, and you when you first start out, well, that depends on how much you remember from your last life that you brought over with you, right? And if you're aware when you're young, it'll come back with you, and it's and then you'll have it now and build upon it and awaken. You have to awaken what you remember. What was I going to say now? It's happened to me now.
He's playing with us.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. So you accumulate a certain amount of knowledge, and you do see the big picture, right? It wipes out every little tiny thing. All the little tiny things here are like, that's not important. Look at this.
Yeah.
And you're in a space for a while you're looking at that big picture. I suppose what I'm trying to say is when you walk a spiritual path, no matter how you do it, right? As long as it's in a good way, things happen to you, and you find yourself in times. Like you'll find yourself in still times. You'll find yourself in times where you know absolutely nothing and you feel like a newborn baby. You'll find yourselves in times where you can see the big picture and everything in the world seems kind of minimal. You'll find yourself in times where you don't know where the hell you are, and you just got to sit there waiting for Creator to bring whatever's next. And the lesson in that one is don't panic, don't get angry. So, and there's always lessons in it on how to be. And one thing that I notice is that Crowd will never tell you what to do. You always have free will to choose whatever's been shown to you or whatever you are going to do. There's always free will. If there's no free will and it's a must, think twice about what you're talking to. When it's a must, like if you're in an accident, Crowd is going to save your ass. It'll just come over you. It's a different feeling altogether. But in general, everyday spirituality, there's a lot of beings that are there talking, and you want to make sure that you're talking to the right ones.
Yeah.
I think that's important too.
Yeah. Speaking of like free will and whether we have, there's always the conversation of, is it free will or is it predestination or is it a combination of the both? I kind of tend to lean towards the latter, that and it's dependent as universal rules are, like to the situation. You know, some things are predestined and other things are what will you choose, choose your own adventure kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, I remember, it seems like yesterday, but it was a while back, we did the roundtable on fate and destiny. Fate is beyond your control. That's death. Yeah. That's the end. That's the end result. Destiny are those little occurrences that happen along the way where you can say yes or you can say no,
right?
But they still contribute to your overall fate.
Yeah, I say it like there's where you got to be, and you can either go straight there or you can go on a journey up and down. It doesn't matter actually how you go; you're going to get there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. And you know how we're talking about you can create your own hell and your own heaven. I think we're in that gap between the A and B. You can create whatever you want in between. You can be really happy, or it can be traumatizing. And half the time, we're given stuff that's put upon us, and we don't understand it till we're older, and it causes us trauma. but then we can heal it later.
Well, creating your own heaven, it keeps you in that higher vibration. You're more positive, you're more upbeat, you're more optimistic. I mean, when you encounter, and it's easier to encounter others that are that way because it's a vibe. It's like a soul vibe. When you're trapped in that negative, or you're not, it's having one of those platypus moments. I mean, everybody. I mean, it's energy. That's what humans are. We're just energy.
We are. We are energy.
Yeah, plasma. Ooh, that's a fun topic. The plasma energy. And I think that's how we will advance, is the understanding of plasma, and that's how we advance telepathically, in our psychic abilities and different things that we are capable of. It's just our race, for some reason, forgot how to do a lot of things.
Yeah, I was saying yesterday how this world's designed to put things in front of you. How did I put it? They tell you, oh, that don't exist, that's not real, that was just a movie, and they block it all out of you. And it's like deliberate. Or
the bread is to always have a distraction, always something going on, the bread and circus, dumb them down. We never really knew our true potential because we were always thrown something to distract us.
Yeah, the what next syndrome. Who's, what's happening. Yeah, it keeps us very distracted, especially in a technologically advanced realm, which we're into now. It's always that next. I'm going to McDonald's next, then it's donuts next, and then it's this next. And, and before we know it, you're in trouble because you fed the spirit of gluttony, or you fed the spirit of pride. And we're not even really taught anymore. Maybe a little bit in Christianity, but you're not taught how to combat those 7 serpents.
No.
How to feed the virtuous ones and recognize them, and how to not feed, and that you literally must starve consistently the serpents of what we might call evil or bad for us, or the opposite of virtues.
Actually, I'll come aware of them energies. And now when they come near me, I've actually turned around, look them in the eye and tell them to, off you go.
Off you go. Yeah. I was doing that today.
Yeah, right?
Get on.
When you're not aware of it.
Open the door. Get out.
But when you actually are aware that, oh, hang on, here they come up and feel them coming before they get that in there, you can get rid of them. But it's not, like you said, you're not taught these things, right?
We're not.
In the old days you were. In the old days they teach you how to handle this sort of stuff, but now they don't. And it can make life a lot easier.
Well, it's got to be stressful to be continuously chasing after the latest trend and fad. I see these girls, and and the boys too do it too. But girls, it hits them harder, it seems like, and the constant thinking that I have to match the latest trend or I won't be accepted by society. And really, if you look at the thousands of years and what stands the test of time when it comes to womanhood, is that classic beauty, that classic understanding that what I put on, it doesn't really matter because beauty comes from within.
Yeah, that's so true. I remember I had a friend, she was a very pretty girl, but she was always angry and nasty. And I told her one day, you look ugly when you're like that. She doesn't look pretty like what she thinks. When she's happy, she looks really pretty. But yeah, when she was angry and all that, which was most of the time, She looked, she realised she looked ugly.
Yeah, and it's like they never look in the mirror and realize that when they're so angry like that, their whole face distorts, especially if they're possessed. If they're possessed with something, when you're become fully given over to that anger, that demonic face that you're possessed with actually comes over your face. I've seen it happen over, lots of different people.
I'll tell you
But
something. This wasn't a demonic thing. This was one of my ancestors protecting me. Did that because I was out. We're outside at a fire, like similar to this, and I was at a person's house, and they literally kept me there to suck me for spiritual energy, right? But it got to nearly 3 o'clock in the morning, and the spirits were telling me, "You need to go to sleep. That time's coming." Right? And I knew I had to be asleep when that time came. But this person was keeping me awake. Anyway, from behind her, around to my left, you could hear a rustle in the leaves and somebody walking. I knew straight away that was one of my ancestors come to save my ass from this person. And they were aware of it too. They went, "Who's here?" I said, "One of my ancestors." And they went, "What do you want?" I said, "I've got to go to bed." And as I said that, they came over, walked over to this side of me. He put his face over me like that and looked straight at her and then moved away. She saw it and nearly fell off a chair and shit herself. And I went, "Now do you believe me? I have to go to bed now." So that happens. Yeah, the face came straight over. So I look like me and then I look like an old black fella, like something behind me. See one of these behind
no, that's like you said, that's slightly different than, when somebody's just mad at you and they're channeling that demons and it covers their face.
Yeah.
That when that happens, how do I put this? As you said, the person that it's happening to normally has to be asleep to deal with that kind of spiritual energy. And then when it does happen, it proves the paranormal of our world. It's just like, oh my goodness, there's an ancient on you. And sometimes people don't understand or understand that it's even happening to them. They've never experienced something like that. They don't know what's happening. And so when I've seen that happen, it's like, okay, there is an ancient. He wants to communicate something to you. He's going to, you need to go to sleep. That's the number one thing. Go to sleep when that happens, because it will come through in dreams always.
And a lot of people they can go mad. The reason is if you don't go to sleep when you're supposed to and these things happen and you don't know what's happening to you, it will send you crazy. So virtually, we're in the spiritual world. So in this world, you've got the front of me and the back of me, right? And then I've got this side of me and that side of me. Now, in spiritual world, there's more than that. I've got this part here and this part here and here and here. It's like you shine out like the sun all the way. If you're receiving spiritual information from all them angles at once and you're awake and you don't know what's happening to you, you think you're going mad. And it does. It's a big draw on your energy because you're literally... The body and the spirit actually, they match, but they don't really vibrate at the same vibration. Because if your spirit vibrated at its true vibration, I don't know, your body would probably go see-through. I don't know, the molecules might come apart. It's just so much energy in such a tiny vessel is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when you're asleep, it's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't have to explain that before.
That's a good way to put it, though. It's kind of like fire, you're constantly consuming the energy, but you're also releasing that energy at the same time.
Yeah. And back to what we were saying about the energy. So, yeah, when someone has a bad energy, it's actually got in them somehow. So I've got through what they heard, through what they see, through somehow.
Through what they eat.
Yeah, they get in your body through your orifices, your holes in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And most times the people that have them aren't aware. Other people can see it, but they're not aware that it's in them because they just go on this tangent. yelling or screaming or craving or saying about.
Well, not only are they not aware, they they simply cannot comprehend, fathom, or imagine that anybody can see those demons that they are bringing in and manipulating and controlling them, because they cannot see them themselves. And so it's like the foreign concept thing. If you have nothing tangible to relate it to, then it doesn't exist. Your mind will just blank it out.
You won't know how to take that in.
Process the data. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's true of a lot of things, because when you're showing spiritual stuff, people see things differently. Men see things different to women. Women are it's more prettier, we've got all this extra stuff and, what we like. That's how we see. Men are more analytical and see it really basic.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. It's the same thing. It's just we see it different. And even between us, we'll see it a little different, because it depends on what, like Malou said, how your mind's going to process that energy. So Creator will process it, or if a spirit has a message for you or something, they will process it in the way that your mind works so you can understand it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Across the board, that's how it goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Universal law on that one.
Yeah. And I think Creator used to say to me when I was young, I'll never give you more than you can take. And I always know that. So when the times get rough, I know it's going to be all right. It's going to make me tougher, because Creator will never give you more than you can take.
Mm-hmm.
And we present it in that way. But I'll tell you a dream I had once. I was in a weird place, and there was this funny doctor, and he was trying to do something to my eye. And I looked at the doctor. Yeah, I had to look at the doctor because I knew there was something wrong, right? There was just this dream ain't right. And as I looked at the doctor, I saw a human doctor, but my feelings told me it wasn't. So the way my brain showed me was on one of them Star Trek shows, they had a doctor who was an alien, and they showed me him to show me that the person in my dream isn't a human, and they showed me that Dr. Alien. So I knew, because my mind couldn't see past to see what it truly was. It probably wouldn't accept it. I don't know, but yeah, so they put the other thing there to say it's a Dr. Alien, and they gave me the character of the show. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how they'll do it. They'll take whatever they can to get you to understand what's really happening.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yep. I found a lot of times the benevolent entities that help on this other dimension where you can communicate with them, or we can, they will typically give a 3-word, possibly sometimes 6 words, sometimes even as much as 9 words, in a nutshell, figure it out, kind of super deep limerick type thing, where in 3 words, it will encompass the whole concept and idea and answer your question, but it's still a riddle. It's still something you've got to figure out. And it has layers, and it's just like, there's no way that my own brain could have come up with that. I didn't even know. That's why it was a question, And then it'll drop 3 words in my head, and I'm like, okay. Wow.
Micro-capsule, I call them. It's like a little micro-capsule, but it's so packed full of stuff.
Exactly.
It takes a little while to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
Happened to my partner the other day. He come out and he had a funny look, and he said, I'm like, what's wrong? He goes, I'm just unpacking something they gave me last week. Like, that's how it was. He got it last week, but he's still unpacking it.
That's usually how it goes, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. They're great. Funny, when a being comes to visit me, I'm terrible. And this is the classic one. My daughter was present at the time, and I was standing in the kitchen, and the doorway to the laundry was just right there, and we were standing in that part, and I saw a little fella, I don't know, about 3 or 4 feet high, pinky colour, and my daughter saw it too and said, Mum, did you see that? I said, I did. And I said, hang on a second, we'll see who it is. So I looked around and I went, who are you? What do you want? Who sent you? And drilled this poor little being. And it's just standing there looking at me like this. And it went, They told me you'd do this. They told me you'd be like this. It's like that shit. And when I saw that, I just relaxed. I said, "It's okay. Just tell me what you need to tell me." And then they told me the message. And but it was really funny. They know. So if you want to visit me in the spirit world, be prepared. I'll be there before you get to tell me the message. But that's something you have to be prepared, man. You can't just walk into somewhere willy-nilly and not be prepared, because things will get you.
Yeah. Oh, well, speaking of, in that dimension, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, Luna, there are much more. Now, let me put it this way, because it is an equal balance. Yet somehow, just like in our lives, the negative energy tends to be more prominent. You encounter it more often than you would encounter a benevolent or a neutral entity. What I've found as soon as, especially for newbies and beginners who first enter this dimension, it's the negative ones are right there as soon as that light turns on. And if you don't know how to maneuver in there, it can be extremely dangerous, because that negative is wanting to feed. That's what they do. They look for that stuff to feed. So it's like being a bunny rabbit in a house full of owls.
Yeah, I call them hitchhikers.
They look at, oh, you look, new meat.
And two, I'll just explain, Malia does ghost investigations. I don't like hunting, because hunting implies that you kill and catch it, you know?
Well, and that you have to go really looking for it. Ghosts are everywhere.
Yeah, they are. A lot of the time I've sat with people and they're like, "Oh, I don't really believe in them," and we have this big conversation, and I'll like notice one walking past or something, I'll go, I'll ask it to come over, and they'll feel the wind or they'll feel something and they'll freak out.
Yeah. Or it gets cold. Or they feel the heat.
In investigations, Malia, what you're trying to say, I suppose, if you go to a place that's really dark, there'll be lots of dark things there. And if you go to a nice place, there'll be more nicer things there.
Yes and no. Now, before I was talking specifically about entering the other dimension, the dimension in which we can travel the plane, meaning like if I wanted to remote view to China and what was happening right here, right now at this specific location of China, then I would need to enter that dimension to travel through that plane to view. Now, some people call that the astral plane, although I feel the astral plane is completely different. I recognize the astral plane to be the space in between. Yes, you can get stuck there. You can find all kinds of things to do in the astral plane, but you will always find doorways. It's pretty much everything that is in the astral plane is doorways and more doorways. An endless amount of them, as many stars as there are doorways in the astral plane. So you could easily be lost in there and never accomplish and get past the threshold to further your psychic abilities.
A lot of people play in that area thinking they're doing great things, and they haven't even left.
And they're not even impacting or affecting anything. Yeah. It's good, practice, but there are some really nefarious negative entities that can attach themselves, and you can drag them into your waking physical life when you come back. So
I don't recommend people go and doing stuff like that.
No, I get out of that place as quickly as I can. It is meant to be an in-between. And
don't play around. Because normally, if Greta wants you to experience something, you'll just be taken bang like that, and it'll be shown to you.
Yep.
And you'll know it's okay.
So when it comes to physical locations of like going to, let's say, an insane asylum, we know there are probably some entities that were released. There may be some entities that are bound to the location. It would be generally understood as a dark place. In those locations, you can immediately pick up on the energy of this is a dark place, and you can encounter those entities. Now, for them to attach to you while you're there is actually quite a difficult process. It requires blood. It requires certain sacrifice. It usually requires ritual speech. Why does speech matter? Because speech is frequency, voice, sound, and vibration. It is what reaches over to the other side and back again. So just like the ripple effect. So yes, you're going in and antagonizing a spirit in a dark place can result in injury, can result in upsetting that entity enough to where they actually cause harm. We've seen it in ghost shows before where the person gets scratched or they get pushed or some, that
My understanding, to clean a place like that, you need a lot of people, and then you've got to burn it down.
A lot of people and a lot of time, and it requires a lot of energy for, a place as bad as an insane asylum where actual rituals were performed and that kind of stuff. There's a lot going on. You have to reverse that ritual, which is identifying what ritual was even performed to begin with. And then so it's not just like this, like you were bringing up the other day, Luna. It's not just this go in, spirits be gone. We've closed the doors, blah, 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 blah. Sage it. Okay, we did our work. Pat me on the back here. They're not doing anything. They're not impacting that. We've both seen it, Luna, on the shows. They don't send any spirit away. That has not.
And I watch them. They're actually antagonising the spirits that are there because they go in with all these promises. We've just come to talk to you. Them spirits actually genuinely need help. If they're not an echo of the place, you know how you get echoes, because you've got there's genuine spirit people, and then there's a replay of things that happened in that dwelling. They're different. If it's a genuine spirit, they shouldn't be there. Because I usually say that, I look and go, what are you doing here? That's the first question I say. What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. There's loved ones waiting for you. You've got a journey to
go. I actually have a thought, and Luna segueing into this. When people pass on, they go to they leave their skin suit behind. The importance of having an open window. They're not trapped, so they're not trapped. So their soul's not trapped here, and they're able to move on. Is there any truth to that?
And the ones Malia was talking about, the real dark ones where there's people doing stuff, when one of them appears, it traps all the others. It'll trap other spirits in that place. They should have moved on. That's why when people go ghost hunting and they talk to these things, they give them empty promises because they said they'll free them, like, help me. They say, a lot of them say, help me, all right? That's what they're asking for help. They need extra light to get away from these dark things that are keeping them. Yep. There's different scenarios, right? You can walk into a house and there's one spirit's not held by a dark thing. That's a different matter. You can walk in and go, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be. They'll tell you the story and they'll leave. What Malia's talking about is it's really like real serious shit.
Things that genuinely impact our timeline, that kind of stuff. It impacts the city around it. It impacts the people living in the city. It may even be, now this is a hypothesis I'm still working on, but it may even be where a type of curse happens, and where we find the cohesiveness of very, very dark deeds happening as far as like suicides or serial killers and this kind of thing, being influenced by those demonic beings. It might give the understanding of why there are so many similarities, but yet in cases so far apart, even by hundreds of years.
If they're in the same area, yeah, that's right. I understand that because we've got places here where, especially around water, there'll be some bad spirits there and they'll drown people and everything, okay?
Well, speaking on the water, that's going right hand in hand with the telluric energy. And if Tesla was correct, which I think absolutely was, we can prove it now, that telluric energy is tied to underground current of water and the movement of water with plasma. So if there is spirits moving along those same lines and that line is disrupted or changed, then that would affect the spirit movement too.
It would. I saw one dude, him and his mate took photos of spirits and that over the water, and fair dinkum, you could see they were pretty genuine. The problem was, I asked him, I said, "Where'd you take them photos?" It was over still rotting water, wasn't it? And he goes, "Yeah." "How'd you know?" And I'm like, "Duh, because it's still rotting water. That's why you can see all these bad spirits around, because there's no life there. It's decaying. It's the other way." And it was like, that's not fair. Anyone can go to a rotten place and take photos and find a rotten spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your local hospital will have them. Sorry. But yeah, actually, hospitals are full of spirits, man.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there's no one in there running around going, "Hey, I've just come to collect your dead."
Well, I don't know if it's the case. I imagine probably in Sydney and Melbourne and your larger cities. But for here, I've found pretty much, if not all of them, but all that I've visited within the past 10 years, large regional hospitals have a type of spiritual force field around their borders. And so I'm finding that deaths happening within the hospital, their ghosts are trapped and I can't help them.
Yeah, I
If
can't.
it's a traumatic death, I can't release them. It's within a barrier that can be broken. I haven't figured that one out yet.
Like over there, but the ones here are like a maze, and you need a map to get around them. And I was in there when I broke my hand, and I'm looking around, and I could see a couple, and I'm thinking, this place is so like a maze. Half of them I don't think know how to get out.
Yeah, that here, this type of maze. Maybe that's what it is, or so. But it does come across to me like a globe barrier dome type on top of it. Electrical, maybe frequency, probably something like that.
I'm not sure. But possibly because of all the equipment they use.
Yeah.
But I did see a clip. I don't like talking about this stuff, but sometimes you've got to say it. I saw this clip where they're in the hospital. I don't know what hospital it was. And they opened the door, and the doctor and the nurse were doing a satanic ritual. And the other guy said, "We need you down here, people are dying." He goes, "Yeah, that's good, isn't it?" And I'm like, they gave me a better idea what was going on in the hospitals.
Yeah, I saw that going on here too, quite a bit with some of the doctors. You know, that's how they advance. That's how they make money.
Yeah.
Participate in that kind of stuff. It's gross. It's gross. We got to keep fighting for the good. There's a lot of positive we can, but sometimes just becoming aware of it is important too.
Government buildings have them too sometimes. I don't know. Maybe some people's lives were that just terrible working there or something. I don't know. Every place has a different story. I remember going to one place, it was an old house, and it was in this direction. And in this old house was here when the settlers come out. It was one of them old houses from the old days. And there was nothing around it back in them days, obviously. But they'd done a Aboriginal display in there. And I've got a bit of a history with this house, actually. So before it was an Aboriginal display, they used it for a nursery for growing plants. And one of the guys that worked there was Aboriginal, and he was doing the office work. And he was working late, and he rang up going, "All I can hear is yelling and banging." He was on the phone. He goes, I've got a stick. I laughed. I went, stick ain't going to help you. If it's that bad, just get out of there. Anyway, a couple of years later, I found myself at this exact place. I'm thinking, what am I doing here? And I'm like, all right. But I had to go in. I was at uni at the time, and it was part of what we had to do. So I had to go in. And this guy there, and we were all talking about Aboriginal artefacts and stuff like that. It was all really good. Out of the doorway comes this white fella spirit with a gun, yelling at the top of his voice, and he's walking bang, 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 and he's swearing and cursing Aboriginal people, and he walks onto the veranda and starts popping off shots. And I'm thinking for a second, I'm just seeing a replay of what used to happen in the house. And then I remembered my friend when he rang up and he said, there's something here, I can hear banging and yelling. And I'm thinking, oh my God, that's that spirit. He's real. And then he came up to me and I'm just standing there like this, because you know when someone yells at you in your face and you just stand there with that stiff kind of thing and they're just yelling right in your face. I'm standing like that. And the aunties on either side of me turn around and went, are you all right, Anne Marie? What's going on? I went, I need to get out of here. So they took me outside away from the sky. I'm like, oh.
Yep.
That was real. And I should have known because a friend from years ago rang me up and said there's something in his house. That's my story. Each place is different.
Yeah.
I do, because of my heritage, I have a lot of places in Australia where I walk in and the spirits come out like, what are you doing here? You're not allowed to be here. That's real still. What do you call that? Racism in the spiritual world.
It exists. Oh my goodness. It's true.
That's why they haven't left, because they've still got things to work out.
They had to do the wheel again. Learn the lesson. Yeah.
So in the world that we live of all the symbols and the books on spirituality and all this stuff that's available, do you think when these people put it out there, they're actually trying to help people evolve, or they'll just, because I know some spiritual people, they don't do it for the right reasons. They do it for their ego, or they do it to attract a partner, or they do it for the money. They're not actually doing it for the real reason, right?
Yeah.
And
well, I think the first... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say some of the stuff that's been left in the past for us about spirituality, I wonder where they've come from. Have they come from a true heart, or have they come from any of what I just said?
Well, I think, to me, the first answer to that question is the spiritual journey is a very personal journey. And each experience is a personal experience that we're able to relate to other of our personal experiences. So if I share with you something that happened to me, say I saw a UFO or I saw something phenomenal, I can't share with you all of those personal experiences that helped me know that this was accurate. So did that experience really only happen for my own spiritual growth? And is me telling others about it going to change their growth at all?
Yeah.
Most cases, when it comes to personal experiences, the answer is no. It's a personal experience for a reason. And there's no way we could talk until we're blue in the mouth. We're still not going to be able to express to the other person how much that impacted us and what it meant to us. It may be something even just very small that happened, or I saw an angel and I know I saw an angel, and this, this is the description of that angel. You must believe me. And nobody has to believe you. Nobody has to take your word for it, because that was your experience for you to process,
Exactly.
And
but there are subtle signs that you might have come in contact with an angel.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree that a lot of us come in contact at least one time with our so-called guardian angel, or that guardian spirit, which is around us our entire life. Many times it's multiple family members. I saw it happening in Scotland more often than not, where their understanding of their spiritual line is there beside them, and they're listening to them, and they're recognizing and responding to what they say. They may not be able to tell you word for word, but they knew that grandfather from way back told them to go and do that thing, and they just, what I'm trying to say is they have more trust in the synchronicities of life, where Americans tend to distrust everything. We tend to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's unless it's compliant with my current understanding, I shall not believe, kind of, which that completely quashes spiritual growth. Spiritual growth comes from creativity, from accepting things outside of our realm.
Exactly. For me, that's what spirituality is. Spirituality isn't spirit. I mean, there's different kinds, different forms of spirits. I mean, even there's alcoholic spirits. For me, spirituality is that journey, that walk, that path that you take to find your personal information, your personal truth, your growth. It's like a snowflake. No two people are going to have the same experience. Your spiritual path is your spirit. Anything soul is spirit, it's yours.
Yeah. Speaking of alcoholism, one of the things that alcohol has the ability to do is to, and they call it, reason why people drink is for the loss of inhibition, for the loss of nervousness. I can communicate with my social environment if I have something to drink. The problem with that is the more you drink, the more your spirit becomes numb and is put to sleep. So you will not have any spiritual growth as long as you continue to choose the spirits of alcoholism to enter your body through one of the orifices. And it's just the truth of it. You will see things as those spirits which you're putting into your body. You will see them the way they see them. You'll see things in the way they see things. And it will reach out and attack anything that dares to defy its existence. So it's just the nature of that law. Yeah, it sucks. I warn people, don't do it. It's not worth it. Let it go. But, I guess they say, what is it? What is it that gets people to choose that? Besides, it's messing with the brain. It's releasing the inhibitions of life. The scariness of going out there in the world. But are you stunted in your growth forever because you've chosen that? I don't know. What do you think, Luna? We hear from you. Oh, you're muted. We cannot hear you.
That's spiritual me. No. Some people have to come back for another round. They can't do it.
They're just kicked back into the wheel. Yeah, another round.
I'd say that I'll just come back with a renewed sense of life and try again.
Yeah. It's just, I guess that's the way it is. With some people, I've had so many past relationships and just like, no, I can't do that one.
Alcohol has a place, like it's a good medicinal thing, like it can kill germs. You can put it on babies' teeth when they've got toothaches, and rub it on their gum. Like, there's a place for it, and it does. One will chill you out. One will make me really turn 10 times. Yeah, you don't want to see me drunk. Some people it turns them into horrible things. Some people happy. Some people drink and you don't even know they're drinkers. I've learned that too. You never see them drunk. You only see them drinking. But in my pathway, I've had a lot of people contest me. I've had alcoholics say, I'm just as spiritual as you, and who am I to say? So I come up with this saying, everybody's spiritual and everyone can sing. because I got so fed up with everyone contesting me. I'm like, yeah, all right, you're as spiritual as what you think you are. It's like singing, right? Everyone's spiritual and everyone can sing, but how good can you sing? Some people want to listen to you and others won't. So you might.
Well, that's a great point. Exactly. Because, well, in the art as well, like in painting or drawing, if you apply your hand to the skill, yes, there's this aspect of, okay, some people have the talent and some people don't. But even the people with the talent will tell you that it took practice, it took learning, it took study, it continuing that skill again and again. The spiritual level and understanding is the exact same way. You may be born with the talent, you have the spiritual there, but if you choose to do nothing with it, then you'll never develop that talent. You remain a baby or an infant in that stage. Exactly. Yeah.
You know how there's multiple gifts, like you can hear spirit, see spirit, you can get visions, like there's all these different things that can happen to you, right? You can see the future, like everyone's got something different. You should have all of them eventually, I believe. Do you think because people only practice inside their circle, sometimes that's why they only harness that one, or do you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's just like a traveler. Take the picture of a traveler. If you only maintain in the city or state in which you were born in, you never get to understand how other cultures learn and live and do their life. And that even exists. You end up believing, if you stay there until you die, you end up believing that everybody else is like what is in that place. And that's the truth of it. We know as travelers, we know that is not true. That is not true, because the spirituality or the spiritual sense of that is the exact same way. If you stay within your little circle and I know how to do this, and this is all I shall learn, sure, you might become really, really good at that thing, but you're never going to advance and branch out to all the other things that can be contained in our spirit. It's like becoming really good at seeing, but never learning how to write. We have all of these senses, and each of those senses are tied to a spiritual sense of what we can do in the spirit realm. We can walk, we can touch things, we can travel, we can go to different places, we can speak and communicate, we can see and imagine. And that's why it begins with creativity. Creativity is the birthplace of spirituality.
Yeah, it is. Being creative and having been open to all that is so important. And people don't realise, they go, I'm not creative, and then they show you something they've done. It might not be a painting or a constructive artwork. They might have done something on the computer. That's still creative. They might have made a song. That's still creative, just because it's not visual. People don't realise. They might be a welder and or a carpenter and make a doghouse. That's still creative.
It doesn't matter what it is. The answer to being creative is that as you're creating that thing, you are, like I said to begin with in the beginning of the show, you are never telling yourself that you are no good at this.
Yes.
You consistently, no matter how crappy, how much you color outside of the lines, and really how feo, we would call it in Spanish, how ugly that product is, you continuously tell yourself, I am good at this. I can do this. I can finish this project. Because I have put myself to it, I may not be perfect at it right now, but the more I keep doing this, I will get better. And you will. It's inevitable with everything that we touch. You will get better the more you do it.
It's true. That's why I always say practice. Who's going to be knocking at the door? Who's on the phone? What colour is that item before I see it? Just little things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of this is to help yourself. It's to help you through this crazy world and stay connected to Creator. That's what it's all about, and the Mother. It is personal.
Well, and like what Christ said too, another Christ idiom, that we have to look within ourselves to stay connected to the Creator. the Creator lives within you. What does that mean? That it is your inner child who will find the connection to the Creator for you.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about inner child, sometimes life can be traumatic and you'll lose your inner child. They actually haven't gone anywhere and they're around you somewhere.
Yeah, they're hiding, usually.
Like a little child would. And when you see them, you've got to open your arms and tell them that you're grown up now and it'll be all right. I can protect you.
It'll be all right. You can see what happened that made them hide, and they will show you. Yes, it will. It's happening
in you, and you'll be all right again. You'll get that childlike thing back, which we should never lose. We should never lose that childlike thing. We're supposed to always have it.
No. Yeah. Well, it's the secret to healing from childhood trauma, because when we finally get a chance to allow that child to show you what happened, and as an adult, we tell the child, hey, come here, that shouldn't have happened to you. What should have happened? When you experience the trauma to begin with, we get the opportunity as adults to give that to ourselves, to wrap ourselves in that love that we needed from back then. That's how you heal it. It's not more prescriptions, and it's definitely not more alcohol. That's not the answer.
And I notice with healing, when you heal, something actually goes in two directions. So you'll heal something in the now, and your future will heal, and so will your past. And you won't see it straight away, but as the coming weeks come, you'll see people that you know from your past start to heal. And it's true. It really, really does happen. If you need help, you ask Creator. I just say to Creator. People, I don't know what people do when they talk to Creator. Like, be respectful, but Creator knows you so well, better than you do. So just be yourself when you talk to Creator, like you would to be your best friend or something. And, be respectful, but just talk normal. And what I would say to Creator, I need help healing myself and my past. And once you ask, it starts to happen. You'll be given tools on how to deal with things. You'll see people around you healing from that. It's funny, we use the word spiritual, and as Jules said, like, you can't really define it. It's just it's realm. It's the realm of what's not there. That is.
Yeah, it's true. It's very.
It's everything.
It's the closest I've been able to define it is the reflection of mountains in the water. Look at the reflection in water, and as long as you've got mountains and trees and that kind of stuff, see how it ripples, see how it changes on the top of the water, and just under the water, that's not what's happening. It's not mountains in the water. The mountains are out here reflecting off. So it's that, I don't know if I'm making sense with that one, but if you think about it long enough, sitting at the edge of the water, it'll come clear.
Okay. And just as you said that, it started raining here.
Did it really?
It sounds like it's going to hail. But yeah, it's just started raining.
I hear the rain. I hear it. Yep. We need some over here in California. Hot and sunny California needs more rain.
Yeah, it's nice to be hot and sunny, but you do need water. Yeah, water is an important element to this world, and it's important spiritually. And you can look at any religion; they got water in it, right? They all use water somehow.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Water in ancient Maya, water is the connection to the underworld. It's how we connect to the underworld.
And I think fire is important, but water is just as important. Yeah, in my culture, we use fire and water equally.
Equally, yep.
We use a lot of fire, but people don't know that we use water as well. And the spirits love it when you do holy water in the air. The spirits love it because you.
Yeah. I've done that before, especially Arizona. I don't know what it was about that place. When it came to getting water into the air around, it was just
cleansing.
So much more necessary than in other places, I found. It's just the desert. I don't know.
I love the desert, you know. I love my trees. I was born in tree country, right? But for some reason, I really love the desert. There's something. I love the peace and quiet because there's. How can I explain it for people? So when you're in the bush, there's life everywhere. There's trees, plants, animals, insects, right? They're everywhere. And when you're sensitive, you can feel all that life and you can hear it all in your head. When you're in the desert, there's still life out there, but compared to the bush, it's very minimal. So your head's quiet and you can hear a bird's energy coming for ages because there's no trees or anything in the way. There's minimal life forms. So it makes it quiet for a sensitive person. So anybody that's having trouble in the city and it's too noisy spiritually, go out to the desert. You'll experience a different kind of connection to nature, a very quiet, still connection. Yeah, the desert's beautiful.
Yeah.
I had a friend from the desert and he always dreamed of the bush. And when I met him, I said, that's funny because I always dreamed of the desert. It was like we were king. It's really nice to know that he's out there just because of that.
That's cool.
I've always talked to people about spiritual stuff like that. When I was young, it wasn't the thing to do. I'm telling you, nowadays people are openly talking about it. You can get on the net. People are discussing it all the time. When I was a young woman, a young girl, it was taboo, man. And man, did I paid a long, hard price to stay who I am truly, to make it to here, and not hide it. Found the more I hid it, the louder it got. It would just come out of me. Things would just come out of me, and it would be embarrassing, and that would be true. So it's real refreshing to be able to sit here today, have an open discussion, and all them people out there that do stuff, to see them do it freely without being persecuted or condemned or whatever word you want to use for it. It's a lot more freer. It's time to shine now.
No more persecution. No more being burned at the stake.
That's it. You got it. Yeah. Funny you said burn at the stake because they even tried to do that when I was young. They freaked me out.
That's the saga. That's the saga of my ancestors being burned at the stake.
Yeah, I went through a few cycles on the wheel of that. But see, that's the thing, and Walter has said this before too, is I think if you're burned at the stake specifically, you kind of get a reincarnation pass that comes in right away. Like you immediately come back.
Yeah. There are different, because if you get your head chopped off, there's like this waiting time. It's like you got a 20-minute penalty or something, and you have to sit out.
Could you imagine how interesting it would be on the other side, standing in line, waiting for the spiritual red eye?
Am I ready to go? Funny, one of my ancestors, he never got burned to death. He froze to death because he wouldn't denounce Creator. What happened, they had a heap of them on the ice, and then they had a fire with a hot bath, and they said if you denounce Creator and your beliefs, we'll let you get in the hot bath and warm up. And they all did it, bar my ancestor, who was the youngest one there. But what he noticed is when you get in the hot water after you're really, really cold, you die instantly, right? He noticed that, so he wasn't going to do that anyway, and he stuck to his belief, and he stayed true to himself, and he stayed on the ice and froze to death. And they made him, what do they call them? What do they call them? When they do stuff. And
Are you thinking of a martyr?
Yeah, it's like a martyr thing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He actually, I think he'd become a saint. I'll tell you his name, Saint Melito, okay? You can look it up. And, anyway. But that was a long time ago, and I don't think I knew him. But apparently that's what's in my family. I can understand that because all my family is really staunch on Creator, and people go, "You're all religious," and we're not really. We just believe. I don't know. I think we're meant to be free. Some people, because when I was young, I wanted to be a nun, right? Because I wanted to be Creator.
I thought about it.
Creator pointed it out, said, "Look at this, look at that, and look at that," and I just went, "Wow, you don't want to do that. If you want to be devoted, you don't have to join anything to be devoted. Just be devoted." That's how I see it. Okay, I'm going to shut up for a minute and have a For those that have just joined us, welcome to the Crazy Hour. No, seriously.
Yeah.
I'll find the piece of paper my dad gave to me with that story on about that fella. I kind of read because he is one of my ancestors, right? So I reached out to him because I thought, wow, I think I've got a lot of faith and connection, but he must have had a lot of faith and connection. Yeah. It's nice to know it's in the family and we can reach it out. Okay, I'm just going to be quiet for a minute because we've got a lot of background noise.
Aye.
We might go for a cuppa, and I found music. Where are we?
Should we take a music break for
We're
a few minutes?
little break, and I found something. Can you tell me if you can hear this? I'll play it.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, I'm going to take a little break.
Perfect.
Thank you. I'm back. We'll just wait for the others to come back on our small break. And I come up with an idea. I have to run it by Malia, but I wanted to do a live experiment. I'm feeling game.
And while we were having our little interlude, I pulled up my article on reincarnation and the soul trap.
Ooh.
Part of the solar system.
We'll look at that and we can share screen. And I want to ask you something, Malia. You're muted.
Well, I'm getting there. Here we go.
Okay. I realise you've got one of them little machines that picks up words from the spirit world, eh?
Do you want me to go grab it, or?
Yes, please, because you know how this is an open thing. I want to do an experiment, a live experiment. Is that all right with you?
All right, sounds good. I'll be right back.
Okay. While you're doing that, we'll have a look at what Jules is doing.
I don't know if I can actually show it, but I can read it, because you had mentioned something earlier, and it actually brought me to thinking, and I couldn't. The train wasn't quite at the station, but earlier I have a simple statement to make. And it pertains to the sun, the moon, and other astral entities. I'm so close. Where did I put it? The earth is your body. The moon is your mind. The sun is your soul. The 12 systems that keep the body functioning can represent the 12 zodiac signs. We are the whole universe in a physical body. Our consciousness is God experiencing this creation.
Thanks, Jules. That was nice. Any more?
With one more thing with that, the heart. The heart is what connects us. Coincidentally, the letters that make up Earth also make up heart.
Yeah, they do. They do. That's Polly. I did invite Polly, but I think the men feel a bit intimidated by us. No. Maybe this isn't their subject. I'm just joking. I'm going to need to behave myself.
All right. So this is the device you're talking about. And see if I can show it up close. And it has 3 different modes. So you said you want the single word mode, the phrase, or the yes or no.
It's up to you, and we can try all of them. It doesn't matter.
I usually like to start on the single word mode. It usually tends to come through more clear.
All right, then. What I want to do, so there's anybody of my ancestors or the local people that live, spirit people around here, you want to say something and you got to behave yourself and no naughty people are allowed. Say it through here so we can pick it up on Malia's thing. Now, this is just an experiment. I don't expect
Don't know if it's going to work.
Okay, so I'll turn myself a bit. And we're not going to say anyone from anywhere because we know better than that. And if any of you are connected to Malia's mob and want to pick it up from that end, just say it over that little machine that Malia's holding. And first thing we'll go with is g'day, hello, Yama. Just an acknowledgement that one.
We get corporate. A corporate effort.
Because there's a lot of them.
I'm liking that. It's a good vibe.
And if you want to ask a question of them ask, and we'll see if we can get any of them any of our people, spirit people, to answer. So I'll ask one. I'll go. Oh, I'm not good at this. All right. One of you's acknowledged, say yes that we are here, or say how many.
Say how many are here.
Mm-hmm.
If
How
you
many?
acknowledge. So I'm thinking I have to repeat
Oh, because you're closer.
the question so that it vibrate the vibration. I don't know if they can hear it through my headphones or not. I'm
Maybe.
guessing not because the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Because usually Bluetooth disrupts this frequencies. But all right, so it's generating a word, it's receiving it. So the question is, are there any here? I don't know if this is a genuine answer or not. It says placid, Placid.
Placid, yeah, then good ones, because that's what it says. Only behave yourself. You got to behave yourself. Okay, not badly.
Okay, can you communicate to us? This is a question I'm coming up with. Whether you are speaking from Luna's side, how do we put this?
This is the first time thing, so it's tricky.
Yeah. Can you give some indication of whether you are on my side here or Luna's side there? I wonder. That's kind of a tough one, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's a hard question, people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just got pushed on my back, so like we're here on my side.
Right.
So
talk into the box.
tell us something. It's your time. Generate your word. Fix. They're here to fix things. Fix.
Okay. Gee, we've made established communications. That's one thing of the experiment. It works, people. Okay. And the cat knows as well. Look. All right, what can we ask you that's simple? Please be patient with this and don't go, because this is a first time thing. Can you say something that belongs to the country you're standing on? The land that you are standing in, can you say something about that country to let us know whose mob's talking? Or what country are you in?
What country are you in? Or what place? Yeah, it's a good one. It says wait. I don't know if you can see that or not. But oh, here we go. Here's a scan, which usually means it's okay. We're picking something up. Now it's going to generate the words. Preserve.
That's tricky. Yeah. Well, if they're in spirit world, they're preserved. Right. We need to be more specific, Malia. This, like I said, this is really, we've established the communication. We've just got to ask the right questions. Okay, what's your name?
Can you give us a name?
One of you is watching. What is your name?
Or what your name means. Sometimes I get a name meaning rather than the name itself.
Okay.
Okay, I'm scanning. What does your name mean?
Yeah, the focus more.
Or what is your name?
Can one of you state your name, please?
Design.
Design.
Creator.
Well, you did say what it means, design. A common name that means design is carpenter.
Okay.
Interesting. Or architect. That's why my head goes to creator. She's the
Creators with us. Isn't it funny? You've got all the questions in the world, and when you actually get time to answer a question, would ask.
I know. If we ask your device, what does your device want my spirits to tell me? It's not often I get a direct line communication.
Oh, that was the quick one. It came right through, went straight to scanning and generating word when you were talking, Jules. And sometimes that I've noticed that is affecting ground. So becoming grounded. We're grounding you. I'm feeling like a grounding effect. So in answer to the question, it's grounding you. The spirits want you to know to be grounded. And me too. Like I totally need to accept that one because what we were talking about last night, stand your ground.
Yeah.
There's devils everywhere. I go into preaching here.
Yeah. So, if anyone's just tuned in, we're doing a live experiment. Malia has a spirit box who's in America at the moment. I'm in Australia.
I don't want to offend the spirit. I want to call them by its actual name. Design is. Hey, spirit, are you female? Do you identify as female or male? Because if you're female, design makes me want to think you might be named Denise. Or Dennis.
Ideal. I find with names, like trying to get a spirit to answer the name, this thing works better than the word generator here.
Yep.
This is a broken radio, essentially. It's a radio that has been set to be able to scan the white noise, essentially. It's just circulating between the channels, right?
Yep.
So, see if I can...
So what we'll say now is, can you speak clearly? And if there's anything you want us to, any messages you want to relay to any of us, please speak clearly.
Hey, spirit, do you have anything you want to relay to Mariah or Luna or myself? Or is there anybody in the beautiful chat room, our friends and family, that you have a message for?
Sometimes the radio can take a little bit to gather energy and kind of get tuned and working. It seemed like we were getting close, but whoa.
Is that what?
Yeah.
Because I just said to them, speak through the box, and they went, what?
Yeah, and that was not a radio voice. Now you can hear the radio, the regular radio tuning in. We want to filter all of that stuff out. We're looking for low voices with full words.
Hey, spirit, do you want this for anybody? Is there anything your spirit can say for Luna, Malaya, or myself, or Joe, or Sid, or anybody in our chat? Because collectively we're all here because we are soul tribe, soul people. Is there a message for any of us?
Spirits don't like being put on the spot, is what I'm hearing. Are you hearing that too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it said it. Yeah.
Yeah, you would. Yeah,
I'm gonna get put on the spot.
I'm not a good candidate.
They don't perform very well
on any given night.
Gosh darn it! Let me try Oracle mode, which is the phrase mode.
I was gonna say, it seems like that was our better option for us.
Yeah, and it this one is great for out in the field, testing a zone to see if there's something there that can communicate, or is willing to communicate.
Maybe we just don't.
I find this one more reliable. Please help me. That's usually a sign that we're not getting any communications coming through. Actually, when that comes up first, the please help me one, I usually I need a secondary to show me that that's a real result.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, unless it's
you've got to get the energy built.
brain talking. Oh, see, that's I get the creeps when that happens. It said turn around.
Turn around. Yeah. Yeah, I just think we've got to get the energy back up.
Oh my God.
All right, everyone, let's give it another shot. We've got a word one going. Say stuff to us. I have a question for you, though. The last 3 years, was that a test for us in our faith?
Fix it. To fix it.
Fix it.
Mm-hmm. We're fixing it. We've been fixing it, yeah. Okay. And that's what it said before, too.
It did. It's just confirming what it said before, which is what we like because, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Simple yes or no question. Are we on the right path?
It said bad. Bad. Single word on Oracle mode really confirms that we're communicating with something, especially when it comes through that fast.
So I'll just say right now we're doing an experiment. Malia has what do they call them, Malia? Proper name?
It's called a paratech.
Malia has paratech. We've got the spirits, our ancestors and the spirits that we know in our rooms. And the experiment is to get them to talk over the box, which is through this machine here. So far, we've established a connection and we've had a couple of words, but we're just silly humans and we haven't got the right questions to ask because I'm sure
The last one came through. It said, I love this place. So we're going to bring in another one. It says, I don't care. So we may be kind of going back and forth between more than one spirit here.
Yeah.
Creating a conflict.
You got a couple, and Julie's got a couple standing in the background going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, you got three over there, Luna.
I know. I mean, I don't think it's all. It's just one of us. I think we have. It's a collective group, and that's why it's like I'm curious if any of my spirits are trying to say anything to other spirits.
It said, I made that noise. I don't know if you guys heard a noise or recognized a noise in that time. I asked it, what noise? From where? Here, Luna, or Jules? Grandfather. That's you, Luna.
Grandfather.
Yeah. I guess it could be mine too.
Yeah. But that's good to know they're around.
Yeah.
I had a question for him.
Okay.
Spirit people, do you like this technology and the fact that we're able to do this? Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Helps fix it.
Fix it again. There you go. All right, so we're on to something here, people. Fix it. Funny, I was saying that to my nephew the other day. Don't get angry, just fix it.
Is there a message, Spirit, that you can communicate to us They'll help us understand how we fix it. And not, I don't want to. We got an ornery one right now. A little bit of attitude. I don't want to. I don't feel like it right now.
Okay. Can you tell us one thing that would help us in the future, like do we need strength, wisdom? Well, I just saw something in my house move across there. Do we need strength, wisdom? So a word like that.
Stay.
That stay strong, stay. Yeah. Hold your ground.
Well, that has been the theme, right? Stand our ground, stay still.
Yeah, they're the messages I've been getting. So they're saying the same stuff. All right, come on, questions. There's no one watching, otherwise they put questions in the chat room.
This one says, please go. And I'm getting the sense of please go and do. Not like we should get up and leave, but that we please go to do the thing that we're supposed to do. Continue on the path. Is that right, Spirit? You can say yes or no. I can't do it anymore. The energy is fading. I'm feeling it too. I'm starting to get drained. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you very much for taking part in our experiment. Lots of love to you. And thank you.
Thank you, Spirit.
And thank you, Spirit. So there you go, people. We had a first live experiment of talking to spirit people and ancestors, and it worked. And it's not the first time me and Malia have done something like this, but Malia, a live experiment.
Yeah.
We know they work. And,
yeah.
But yeah, just for your sake, there you go. You can scrutinise it as much as you want, but the three of us were here. We knew what we were all talking about.
That's the point, right? No, I'm teasing.
It's always good. I love it when I got someone there to see what I see. One day I had a friend standing in my kitchen, and we got one of them pull-down blinds. You know, they roll up and you pull down. And I used to have thin curtains behind them, but I haven't anymore. Anyway, the blind was down this day, and my friend and me were standing in the kitchen, and we were facing each other, and the window was on this side. We saw, well, I know what I saw, but I wasn't sure whether she saw it, but what made me believe she saw it is that we both ducked as it came in the window and went over the top of our heads and disappeared into the wall. So we're talking to each other like this, and then all of a sudden we both just ducked down while we're talking. and we ducked back up, and I looked at her and went, what did you see? Because I knew what I saw. She said it was a bird, a white bird. I went, yeah. What I saw was a dove flew through the window, and it made the blind go whoosh like that, and over our heads and disappeared into the wall. Now,
how long ago was this? Do you remember what year it was?
A long time ago. I was in my late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, so more than 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, it was.
I mean, but there's truth in that. It's like it really wasn't, but it was.
But yeah, she was there to witness that, and she wasn't what I'd call a person that actually walked in that world. She was a normal person, you know, that just goes to work and does what everyone does, doesn't really get into stuff like this. But yeah, she was there, and we both ducked together, and she saw the bird fly through the window, which was shut, by the way, because we checked after that, because we were checking what we saw, and she said that wind come through the window, and I pulled the blind up, and the window was shut, because we both saw the blind move. The blind actually moved, and the curtains. So,
wow.
Yeah. So these things, it's really good to have someone there when it happens, whether they're spiritual or not. Yeah, seen a few, and I'll always check. I go, did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had it the opposite way, where something's been right in front of me, and it's touching my hands, it was a giant kangaroo, right? And I'm right there. I could feel its fur, its nails. It put its hands in my hand. I'm talking straight at it. There's people here and people there, and I thought, well, they could see it too because we're in the bush. Of course, they would see it, right? And I was standing there for ages talking to it, and I asked them later, "Did you see that really big kangaroo there?" And they went, "There wasn't a kangaroo." And I'm like, "What?" They said, "We saw you talking, but we didn't see a kangaroo." I'm like, "Okay, thank you."
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like them ones because it makes me look crazy.
Well, all along, my favorite ghosts to encounter are old, I'm talking 300-400 years ago type ghosts of Scottish people. They're the funnest to encounter. They're just silly as can be. And you're just like, okay, what'd you say again? You want me to do what?
And I have to chuckle because their spirits that contacted you are my real ancestors.
Yeah.
Robert de Bruce.
Robert de Bruce, yes.
It was my 26 generations ago. He would have been my grandfather.
Aye. Which connects you to William, too. William Wallace. Yep. I don't know if you can see him, Luna. He's big, scruffy Scottish ghost back there. He keeps just like, scratch my beard.
See, and your box.
I'm trying. Go.
If your box was still on for validity, you could ask that. You could ask that spirit.
You said, no, I ain't using that thing.
If I'm telling the truth.
That's funny.
Because why? Talk to you just clear. Oh, that's funny.
Okay, well, that was a long 2 hours, man.
Marathon.
We're talking about everything, or not.
I mean, spirits are obviously important. I mean, the Police wrote a song about spirits in the material world.
You were going to bring that up. Nice. Yes. What's the lyrics? How does it go?
We are spirits living in the material world.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Spirits.
In the material world. I remember that, yeah. We are a spiritual being having a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a fella walk in my kitchen because I used to have that written on my wall, and he told me it was the opposite, and I turned around and looked at him, and then I realised he was a dark one. And I kept an eye on this fella, and then I heard some other things, and then I went and did something about it. I went and told somebody they could do something about it. Yeah, but as soon as he dissed that thing that we weren't spirits having a human experience, we were actually humans having a spiritual experience, and I thought, no, mate, you got it the wrong way around. And yeah, he was a very naughty dark fella. So, people tell you what they're like. Their own spirit will make them say, but they might make a joke about it or something and you won't believe them, but in actuality they're telling you.
Yeah.
I'm just on at this point because we've talked about all these subjects. We did a live experiment which turned out right. I did a live experiment yesterday which turned out pretty good. So I think that we're going to get together more in the future and do some more live experiments.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that's fun. I like it.
I just get this overwhelming sensation that this is just the start of something.
Yeah, I am feeling it too. Big time. We're coming into a threshold time where things are closing behind us and new things are opening in front of us. And that's always a bumpy time. So as those doors close that must close, let them to be closed would be my advice to those going through this also. Allow the things that are not supposed to, and I eat this. I'm doing it too. Allow the things that are not supposed to be in your life for the coming years, which universe can see, to leave, to walk out if they will. Because if they choose to not be around and a part of what we as a cohesive unit are accomplishing by our light, by our life, by our love, by the frequency and sound of our voice that we're putting out there. It is pure love that comes in a different form now. If they choose to not be around that, they fall to the wayside. It's a time of choice right now, too. So soak it in, stand your ground, stay still in patience, because universe is working stuff out for the coming year.
I can go a little bit about what I'm working on. I, for the past 6 months, have been on a spirit walk. Inspiration hits different places where you find your inspiration. You find it in unlikely sources. For me, it was an episode of Xena. This episode called The Bittersweet. The message of the entire show was overcome hatred and move back to love. That one simple concept led me down an information overload gauntlet, but I'm out on the other side. And it has shown me things. For instance, the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, coincidentally, Xena carries the chakram. So if we all have a chakram, we all have a heart. And that's the weapon of love. The chakra, the heart. Raise your vibration. Raise your energies. It all starts with the heart, with earth. Be grounded.
Yep, totally.
You know, the messages we got on that little box were for all of us, and Malia went through them, be grounded still. While you were all talking, I got my own little thing. I realised something when you were talking about chakras. You know, chi, so you got your chakras, but you also have a ball of energy. It's called chi, and it can move up and down in your body. When it moves up, you get immense power of energy, right? And you can just keep going, keep going and keep going and keep going. When it goes down, it settles you in the grounded, right? I just realised that some of my people that I know who have problems in life, that have spiritual and emotional problems, I just realised their chi's stuck up here. It needs to be pushed back down. Listening to the messages we got from the spirit people, being still and grounded and all that, even though we know these messages, we've heard them, but it's different when you get them at that particular time. I just realised that a lot of people having a problem with it, their chi has been pushed up here and they're on the go, and their mind's collapsing because of they need to ground and push it down.
Yes, totally agree.
I think that's why everyone's going, I need to nature. That's the grounding part. I wonder if they did something to push everyone's chi up. I don't put it past them. Yeah. I wonder if a vibration can do that. I need to talk to Polly about that. I wonder if a vibration can move your chi up and down.
I mean, if they are trying if they're trying to keep us trapped here in this density, this vibration, it seems like a lot of the things they do are done with intent or purpose.
Yeah.
So I would
understand.
I would not be surprised if they want that. They all know those energies right up there.
Yeah, me too.
And then I mean, I'd like to think that it's in people's nature. It's in their essence to want to be closer to Earth, to be closer to the ground. And then you have the invention of TV and technology, and that further keeps the disconnect.
Yeah, the remote control culture, the control my emotions via my remote control, that activates a response that becomes an addictive behavior. And turns into habit forming to be stimulated for any kind of specific response that we may be craving at the moment. Yeah, frequencies and vibrations is completely in the television. I think so. Totally. That's why I'm really careful what I choose to watch and listen and put in my environment. It's important. It's part of spiritual development.
Yeah, I would agree.
It is. And if you crave it, if your spirit will crave it and you'll go seek it eventually because you're comfortable where you are if your environment is the wrong thing, isn't it? You know, I find cars and trucks and trains and all that, I find it very offensive. The sound and energy that comes out of them, I find it really offensive.
There are some that are really bad. I totally agree to that. Even these new electric cars, I think some of them, like, they just don't sound right, and they make me feel upset, angry, irritated, kind of like, get me away from that.
Yeah, robots do that to me. My instinct is to destroy them. I thought, when I first that's not me. I wouldn't do that. Like, why do I have this instinct just to destroy this machine? Oh no!
Seriously, I got a flash in my mind with Luna and her battle axes, and they're just going flying. Die, robot!
And I always I got a fear there. Like, remember when those shows come out with the robots in them? What's that one? You all know it.
iRobot.
Yeah, all them ones. Yeah, back then I'd watch them like sitting like with my teeth gritted because I'm like, this is scary, man. I find it really scary. And then not long ago, I actually went out and they got them little robots that serve people in the restaurant. And I'm walking along and I saw it and I froze and it froze and we just sort of stood there, frozen. And then I realised what I was doing, so I kept walking and so did it. And then I come home and went, shit. It's real. It's real. Yeah, my fear is real, man. It's right there. It was right there in front of me. I'm like, okay. Yeah, but I had this instinct to run over and kick it over, but I was in public, and I'm thinking
because I think you've experienced this on a past timeline.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I had the same reaction to two other things. I had one to we were at a play and this guy was dressed in a red coat for the play and he walked around the corner and I was with my eldest daughter and as he walked around the corner we knew we were at a play, right? We walked around the building block and he walked around, we just froze and he looked at us and thought they're weird and kept walking and then we were still frozen after he left and then I turned around like that and we froze. She goes, that fear was real, Mum. That was, what do they call it? That's trauma from my ancestral trauma. That's real. And then another time I went to the museum, this is a funny one, and you know them people that get dressed up in those mechanical dinosaur suits and they're like real and they walk along and you can look at the bottom and see their feet and know it's a machine. One of them, we're at the museum and one of them comes walking straight for me and I just backed up onto the wall and I'm standing stiff like that on the wall and my kids are going, Mum, it's not real. I'm going, I know it's not real. You tell my body it's not real.
Oh.
And I'm just like that. And the guy come right up and I'm petrified, mate. Yeah, and then I realised that they're real. Right, that fear's a real fear from another time.
Yeah.
So I had 3 real fears and that aren't supposed to be, but they are. Because I'm one of them people, if I've got a fear, I want to face it straight on and get out the way. I don't like it. I don't like having fears, yeah. I suppose I faced them, didn't I? But I was scared. Freezes you like that.
Yeah.
Like hitting the daylights again. Anyways, have you ever had that frozen fear thing? Like
Heights. Heights does it to me. I don't. That's why I don't want to be in a little tiny airplane. That's way too high up for me. I'm good. I'll stay on the ground. Don't put me in a boat. I'm not afraid of drowning. To me, it's just like being in heights. It's if the boat sinks, I'm screwed. Just like if the plane goes down, we're done.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll look like that. I had a friend who was afraid of water, And she wouldn't go in the pool. She had a pool for a kid, and you wouldn't go in it. And one day we were just driving along talking, and I turned and looked at her, and I saw why she was afraid of the water. I said to her, you were trapped in a room, and the boat was sinking, and the mattress was up against the door, and you couldn't open it because it was wet. And she just turned around to me and she went, "Oh, the wet mattress." She used to dream about this wet mattress, right? I didn't know. I just saw her drown in a bloody boat. And the wet mattress went up on the door and she couldn't open it and drowned in there. Anyway, I told her. She went a bit funny, and then a week later she rang me up. She says, "Guess what I did today?" I said, "Watch the Zion swimming." I'm like, yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So these things happen.
All right, ladies, I better call it a night.
We're going now, and we'll be back next time with more live experience and talking more about this realm. And we'll say goodbye to everyone. Yalu, see you next time. Thanks for sharing a fire with us. Hope you enjoy it.
Yalu.